So the very beautiful and very unique orchids that we have in today's Orchid in Review are these species orchids right here, which is a Dendrobium bracteosum. Now, as we do look at the Dendrobium structure and growth habit of how this orchid grows, it definitely has that common signature of what most Dendrobium orchids have. And you are seeing those very elongated canes, very slim and slender, and you're also noticing those very common leaves that are also noted in a lot of your Dendrobiums. You will also find that the new growths will come from the base of the plant, also known as basal keikis. Now, although this orchid is considered to have somewhat of an erected form in its growth habit, if you allow it to grow on its own, you will find that it will begin to grow outwards, and also because of the length of the cane, it will begin to cascade downward as well, becoming pendulant. Now, what is most unique about this species orchid, of course, is the way that it blooms. And let's take a closer look of exactly how this is done. And as we take a look at these blooms, you definitely will see that it does have a unique way in which it blooms. Blooming in a cluster of a ball shape, or what is considered a pom-pom shape. Now, the actual bloom size itself is rather small, as you can see right there. About an inch in diameter of the blooms. Now, because it does bloom in quite a large cluster, it still is definitely noticeable and an attractive orchid, giving quite a flowering display. Very beautiful and somewhat of a bristle-like appearance. Now, a fantastic feature about this orchid is the fact that it does come in quite an array of color. You can find these orchids blooming in white to yellow to a greenish color to your pinks to your deep fuchsia colors. So indeed, many colors to choose from on this orchid. And the one thing that really stays the same about the orchid blooms is the beautiful color found on its dainty little lip that is usually an orangey or a red color. This is also an orchid that is considered fragrant, although I will tell you it is very mildly fragrant and has an unusual scent of somewhat of a strawberry chapsticky scent, if that makes any sense. At least that's what it reminds me of. Now, these Bracteosums are considered to be small to medium-sized growers, although I will say that they can become rather large in height. As you can see right here, this is about 20 inches tall. So again, they can get rather large, and also for the fact that they do have a clumping nature. So a mature size orchid can need a lot of space. So also keep that in mind. This is an orchid that's considered to be a warm to hot grower. This is considered to be an epiphytic orchid, commonly growing on trees and other vegetation. So you definitely can mount these orchids up or have them potted, whichever way grows best for you. Now, this is an orchid that does like high humidity and a whole lot of moisture, so you definitely want to ensure that you are watering these orchids, and you water these about once or twice a week, just depending on your conditions. Also, this orchid does appreciate your drier winter's rest, so you definitely can ease up on the watering, although it is noted that this orchid does not like to completely go dry, so please keep that in mind. These orchids are also considered to be deciduous orchids, so if you find that the leaves begin to yellow and even drop off, don't panic. That is a normal behavior of this orchid. And as a matter of fact, you will find that the blooms commonly will bloom off of leafless canes or near leafless canes. So again, it's just a part of the beautiful blooming process. And as we take a close look at these canes, you will see how close these bloom clusters will grow off of these canes. And they'll also grow on the knuckles, or what is considered the ring around the orchid. That's where you will find the actual bloom spike or the inflorescence will come from. And another blooming habit of this orchid is the fact that it does like to bloom off of its older canes. So when you see the newer canes coming up and you see that they still do have a lot of leaves, know that you more than likely will not get any blooms from those, because again, they do like to bloom off of their older ones. And a wonderful feature about these orchids is the fact that they can bloom on previously bloomed canes. So don't count them out just because they've already bloomed. They may surprise you and bloom yet again. And I do have to tell you what I love most about the blooms is the fact that they are so long lasting. These blooms can last at about 4 to 6 months long. So yeah, you're gonna get a whole lot of bloom time off of this orchid right here. And for the fact that it has a long duration in the time that it can bloom, blooming sporadically from spring to the autumn season even makes it just that much more fabulous. So as you can see, there are so many wonderful features and things going on with this orchid. It is quite a unique species orchid, very easy to grow, and also an orchid that gives you an abundance of blooms. Very unique looking blooms on top of that, and a wide variety of colors. So what more can you ask for in a species orchid? Definitely a beautiful one to have. And there you have it, folks. That is an absolute species Dendrobium Bracteosum wrap. I hope you guys liked this video, and I'm hoping you guys also learned something new from it. If you did like this video, please be sure to like, share, and also subscribe. Also join me on Facebook as well at My Orchid Adventures. And as you guys already know, I do truly love and appreciate each and every one of you guys all. I will see you guys later, and I'll also grow with you guys later as well. Bye-bye for now. Mwah.